We got you now, Fukamachi.
Prepare to dive into the dark and twisted world of Guyver, where sci-fi meets shonen manga greatness. If you thought the Marvel symbiotes were chilling, you ain't seen nothing yet. Meet Sho Fukamachi, your typical high school student just minding his own business when, bam, fate slaps him in the face with the ultimate upgrade, the Guyver unit. It's like Tony Stark's Iron Man suit got a makeover from a techno-organic alien. But hey, don't start planning your cosplay just yet. Remember, this ain't a walk in the park for our newfound hero. As Uncle Ben wisely put it in every other superhero origin story, with great power comes great responsibility. Sho's got his hands full with a rogues gallery of supervillains who all have their eyes on the prize, world domination. In this gripping episode, we'll be diving deep into the dark abyss of the most terrifying Guyver villains, ready to leave you both entertained and maybe a tad sleepless tonight. So grab your popcorn and put on your brave faces, cause it's time to get wild. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Zoonoids, a group of extraterrestrial masterminds called the Aranus, or creators, but let's get real, Aranus is more fun to say, descend upon Earth with a grand plan. They're like the architects of life, engineering all kinds of critters, including zoonoids and humans, optimized for one purpose: battle. Earth was their epic battleground against some unknown cosmic adversary. But, as with all ambitious experiments, things don't always go as planned. One day, the Aranus tried their hand at fusing a Guyver unit, yeah, that super cool techno-organic armor we were talking about, with a human, and it didn't exactly pan out. The whole thing went kaput, and the Aranus, in true oops my bad fashion, picked up their alien bags and abandoned Earth along with all their creations. Fast forward through the millennia and we find a curious development: zoonoids mingling with regular old humans. As the bloodlines get diluted, you now have zoonoids with various types, and believe me, they're quite a mixed bag of superpowers. First up, we've got the Gregor type. This dude is like a Hercules on steroids, boasting a whopping 15 times the strength of your average human. Not to mention, his skin is so tough that even the fanciest, most advanced weapons can't get past it. Oh, and just for kicks, he's got some soft tissue action that absorbs shock like a champ. Next in line, we've got the Ramotith type. The great thing about these guys is that the transformation process works on any human. Once they morph, they become hyper-muscle zoonoids with 10 times the strength of your everyday Joe. Last but not least, we've got the Vamor type. These guys take transformation to a whole new level with laser-shooting shoulders. Pew pew! But hold your horses, cause these element lasers come at a cost. The poor Vamor has to deal with poison running through their veins just to fire those lasers for a measly 2.6 seconds. Tough gig. And while their muscles might not be as beefed up as the others, they still pack 5 times the strength of your run-of-the-mill human.
Now do you understand? Don't mistake us for ordinary Thorn.
Thancrus. Meet Thancrus, the speed demon of the Hyperzoonoid Elite Squad. Created by the brainy Dr. Barkus, Thancrus was designed to be the Usain Bolt of the Hyperzoonoids. Yup, we're talking high-speed combatant here. If there were Hyperzoonoid Olympics, this guy would be bagging all the gold medals. Thancrus zooming around like a cheetah on espresso, faster than Guyver himself. He's got it all: optimized tech straight from the Chronicles, high-speed moves that'll leave you seeing double, and hand-to-hand combat skills that'll make Chuck Norris blush. Now, when he's not zipping around, Thancrus takes the form of a slim Asian-American dude. His hyperzoonoid form looks like it was modeled after the coolest of sea critters, probably a sailfish. With a long sail on his back and a long sword-like thingy, that's totally swordfish cheek, he's one swanky warrior. Oh, and let's not forget about his secret weapons. Literally. His hands are swapped out for 2 long, high-frequency swords that slice through bad guys like a hot knife through butter. And just to keep things balanced, literally, he's got 2 thumbs that help him maintain his supersonic swinging skills.
I only live for your death!
Enzyme. The ultimate Guyver killer showdown. Say hello to the Enzyme Trio, 3 variations of zoonoids that are bad news for our beloved Guyvers. First up, we've got Enzyme 1, the original Guyver killer developed by the infamous Kronos. Imagine this dude as a pot-bellied furball mostly covered in luscious white fur. But don't let his cuddly appearance fool you. His bodily fluids house a nasty corrosive enzyme that goes all Terminator on the Guyver's armor, dissolving it completely. Yikes. Next in line, say hello to Enzyme 2, the beefed up and more advanced version of its predecessor. predecessor. It's like Kronos thought, hey, let's make the ultimate Guyver killer, and boy did they succeed. Fumio Fukamachi was the first lucky guy to be optimized into an Enzyme 2 and unleashed onto the battlefield. This thing was massive, seriously large, and in charge. Its physical strength rivaled that of the mighty Guyver, making it a formidable opponent. And trust me, it was no slowpoke. Despite its bulky frame, it could dance circles around the hero. But hold your breath because the party's not over yet. Enter Enzyme 3, the latest and most powerful version of the Guyver killer Zoonoids. Picture a sleeker, meaner, and deadlier version with the added bonus of wings, making it a certified flying menace. Enzyme 3 ditches the corrosive spray but makes up for it with razor-sharp claws and a prehensile stinger-tip tail. They say this bad boy can heal from almost any injury in seconds, like some supercharged Wolverine, and even reattach severed limbs without breaking a sweat. Impressive much? Arkenfell, a heavyweight villain in Guyver's universe, the one and only Arkenfell. This dude's not just your average villain, he's the oldest and mightiest being on planet Earth. And trust me, he's got some epic psychic powers up his sleeve. Arkenfell's got the whole package. Mind-blowing psychic skills, battle abilities that'll leave you speechless, and a whole bag of tricks that even he hasn't fully unleashed yet. But he's no self-made supervillain. The creators themselves crafted him to be the grand leader of all the Zoonoids and us lowly Earthlings. And to complete his squad of bad guys, they whipped up 11 other Zoolords to be his generals in the Zoonoid army. Now, in his human form, Arkenfell rocks a stylish look with long white hair, pointy ears that scream, "I'm an elf," and yellow cat-like slit eyes that have us both intrigued and a little spooked. But when it's time to bring the smackdown, he transforms into a skinny, slick, and golden Zoolord with crystals and gravity spheres sprinkled all over. But let's not forget the piece de resistance, his hidden Zoa crystal. That baby's tucked away under his skin like a secret weapon, but when it's activated, it shines like a star, making you wonder if this guy's got some celestial connection. Now brace yourselves for his laundry list of powers, cause it's a doozy. He's got telepathic communication with all the regular Zoa forms, think mass mind control, telekinesis on steroids, and energy beams that could give any superhero a run for their money. And that's not all. He can bend and traverse through different layers of reality like a boss, fly like a majestic bird, teleport like Doctor Strange on a sugar rush, and to top it all off, the dude's got extreme longevity. Gaster, the explosive powerhouse of the Hyperzoonoid Elite Squad, aka the Hyperzoonoid Team 5. This guy's got a bag full of tricks and he's not afraid to use them. Get this, Gaster is a biomissile-enabled Hyperzoonoid, which basically means he's a walking armory. He can grow organic missiles like it's no big deal and even spray an explosive liquid at his enemies. Boom, baby! Just call him the Zoa Missile Launcher. And he doesn't need fancy missile controls or a high-tech targeting system, oh no. Gaster's got some next-level skills up his sleeve. He can produce and guide those missiles all by himself, organically and telepathically. It's like he's playing a deadly game of missile telekinesis, and he's definitely winning. Now, when he's not busy blowing stuff up, Gaster takes the form of a stocky, middle-aged Euro-American dude. But when he unleashes his Hyperzoonoid form, it's like something out of a sci-fi creature feature. He's got that reptile vibe going on with a head that's small and topped with large bat-like ears. And check out those killer iguana-like neck spines. This guy's a real-life mashup of critters. Durzurb. Meet Durzurb, the muscle-bound powerhouse of the Hyperzoonoid Team 5. This dude's got strength that'll make the Hulk look like a twig and a bag of tricks that'll leave you gasping for breath. Durzurb's got the power of 60 men packed into his brawny frame. He's like a walking, talking wrecking ball, ready to take on anything in his path. And let's not forget about his epic armor-piercing horn. This guy means serious business. But his skin is tougher than a tank, making him practically impenetrable. No lasers getting through that bad boy. And he can discharge a kind of biological napalm too. Now, Durzurb's no slowpoke despite his massive size. He's got a rhino-like Hyperzoonoid form that's both imposing and agile. It's like watching a rhino do ballet. His secret? A carefully balanced skeleton, tons of muscle, and counter muscle, so he can unleash his full power and still be as nimble as a gazelle. And here's the cherry on top. This guy can shoot flames from his mouth like a dragon on steroids with a maximum output temperature of a scorching 3,900 degrees Celsius. Now that's what I call firepower. Oswald A. Lisker. let me introduce you to the one and only Oswald A. Lisker, the not-so-happy-go-lucky Kronos agent and inspector extraordinaire. This guy's got a bone to pick, and he's not afraid to show it. So there he was, all set to supervise the transfer of those snazzy inactive Guyver units to Kronos headquarters in Japan. But someone managed to mess things up big time. Yeah, our guy Lisker wasn't pleased when he found out that the Japanese director, Genzo Makishima, lost these precious units. But hey, karma's got a funny way of working. When they finally stumbled upon one damaged unit, Mr. Lisker couldn't resist taking a peek, and it was like a cosmic match made in heaven. He involuntarily became the host for the unit, earning himself the title of Guyver 2. Now, let me tell you, this guy's got an ego bigger than Thanos' chin. He's vain about his looks, and his martial arts skills are nothing to scoff at. Combine that with the Guyver armor, and you've got yourself an incredibly dangerous adversary. We're talking one deadly cocktail of power and arrogance. After becoming Guyver 2, oh boy, his ego took a one-way trip to the stratosphere. More power, more cockiness. It's like the perfect recipe for a supervillain cocktail. Synovite. For this entry, we have a mysterious and obscure zoonoid on our hands, the one and only Synovite. This guy's got a resume as tangled as a comic book multiverse, but don't underestimate him just yet. He may be a bit of a mystery, but Synovite's no pushover. Some say he's a high-end zoonoid, others think he's a relatively weak hyperzoonoid. Synovite made his debut in one of those practically unknown Guyver novels, blink and you might miss it. But wait, he didn't stop there. Years later, he showed up front and center in the 3rd episode of the 2nd animated series. And just when you thought he was done surprising us, he even made an appearance in the manga itself. This guy's like a ninja in the shadows, popping up when you least expect it. Now, let's talk about his powers, because they're anything but ordinary. Imagine an octopus on steroids and you've got Synovite's power package. This dude can move faster than a speeding gargoyle, especially in the water. With 6 tentacles that can stretch up to 30 feet, yikes, he's a master at attacking from all angles. His floppy-looking hands may seem harmless, but don't be fooled. They're hiding rows of razor-sharp claws that could shred human flesh like it's nothing. And that's not all. He's got some nifty tricks up his sleeve, or should I say tentacles. Those glands under his eyes can shoot out a special black fluid with serious adhesive properties. It's like an octopus superglue. He binds his enemies with it before crushing them to a pulp. ZX Toll. ZX Toll, the leader of the notorious hyperzoonoid Team 5. This guy's got some serious firepower up his sleeve, and he's not afraid to show it off. Equipped with not 1, not 2, but a whopping 13 bioblasters that can blow your socks off. And get this, each one of those bad boys is more powerful than a Vamor's. Yup, it's like having a whole arsenal at his disposal. ZX Tolls has an ace up his sleeve called the Blaster Tempest. This charged thermal beam blast is concentrated right in his abdomen, and it's so powerful that it could even destroy its own emitter. Now, when he's not busy unleashing mayhem, ZX Toll takes the form of a surprisingly short dude with a mysterious ethnicity. You wouldn't expect it, but hey, looks can be deceiving. But when it's time for battle, he transforms into a creature that's got beetle vibes written all over it. It's like having a real-life beetle superhero. Picture a short, stocky, and round-featured guy crowned with an enormous tri-forked rack of antlers. And that central horn? It's not just for show. It can open up to reveal his second most powerful bioblaster. But wait, there's even more firepower. The bright yellow panels on his forearms and thighs can open up, revealing 3 more bioblasters each. And if things get really intense, he can unleash fully functional beetle-like wings from beneath the plates on his back. Ramotif. Developed by the big bad Kronos, this guy is one early power-type zoonoid that means serious business. Kronos in Japan hit the nail on the head with their adjustments, turning Ramotif into a hyper-muscle model. It was such a smashing success that they could use the same process on almost any human being. And guess what? Ramotif wasn't just some guinea pig. Oh no, he was handpicked to be the first soldier for Kronos headquarters. But you might have heard of another zoonoid known as Ramachis making the rounds. It's like they're playing a game of zoonoid name tag. We're not entirely sure if they're distant cousins or just the same guy with a fancy new alias. Guess we'll have to keep an eye out for any cheesy clues. Now, let's talk about the muscles on this guy. 15 times the strength of a regular human. It's like having the Hulk on speed dial. And while he might not be the best at absorbing impacts, he more than makes up for it with some monkey-like dexterity and agility. Who knew the Ramotith could bust moves like a circus performer? Aptom, the ultimate shapeshifter. Aptom, the battle creature with a knack for zoonoid DNA makeovers. This guy's like a walking, talking zoonoid Swiss Army knife, and he's not afraid to use every tool in the box. See, Aptom's got this nifty little trick. By absorbing bits of DNA from other zoonoids, he can replicate their forms and powers. It's like having a buffet of superpowers at his disposal. And if that's not enough, he can even mix and match the attributes of several zoonoids into one epic combo package. This guy's got the ultimate regenerative power. Even if you manage to chop him up into tiny pieces, he'll just bounce back like a rubber superhero. It's like trying to keep a cookie monster away from cookies. Impossible. And once he discovered this power, he went all out on his zoonoid power scavenger hunt. Yep, he started taking down zoonoids left and right, snatching their powers and biomatter to become the ultimate battle creature. But hold your breath, cause the plot thickens. Aptom went rogue, breaking free from the grip of Kronos. He decided to team up with the Guyvers, like some dynamic duo of DNA shenanigans. Who knew being a battle creature could be so complicated? Marvelous verdict. In the captivating world of Guyver, the villains cast a dark and ominous shadow over the narrative. From cunning masterminds to powerful adversaries, they pose challenges to our heroes. Whether it's the hyper-muscle might of Derzerb or the explosive prowess of ZX Toll, each villain brings a unique and terrifying presence to the story. The relentless pursuit of power and domination drives these monsters, leading to epic clashes and confrontations. As they unleash their sinister plans, the fate of the world hangs in the balance. These aren't your everyday villains, they're monsters of mass destruction with abilities so terrifying they could wipe out entire continents in a blink. Hope you enjoyed these horrific entities, cause we sure did. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.
Now do you understand? Don't mistake us for ordinary zoonoids.